that will be administered by the clerk of the committee. It may not necessarily involve all of it, but all those who are to give anything before the committee are entitled to undergo that process. Can the clerk administer that? You have a mic.
That's all, man. I, Abdul Kabir Dafe, do hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me Allah.
Next.
I, Musa Sede, do hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me Allah.
You all have to? Okay. I, Abbas Bah, right? I, Abbas Bah, do hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me Allah.
I, Sila Konate, do hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me Allah.
Thank you very much. Now we can proceed first with introduction, and each member will be introducing yourself. We begin with my humble self, Alhaji Asdabo, the chairperson of the committee.
Good afternoon. I am Honorable Keba Tumani Sane, National Assembly member for Fonyi Jarol and a member to this committee.
Good afternoon. I am Honorable Musa Chan, National Assembly member for Serakunda and a member of the FBAC committee.
Good afternoon. My name is Silakonate. I'm the board chairman, Modi.
Good afternoon. My name is Abdul Kabir Dafe, Program Manager, NEDI.
Good afternoon. My name is Abbas Bah. I'm the General Manager of NEDI. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Musa Sedi, the Finance and Admin Manager for NEDI. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Buba Toure, Finance and Admin Officer of NEDI. Thank you.
Jata, National Audit. Siring Mas Diallo, Director of Audit, National Audit Office.
National Audit Office.
Hi, sir. Thank you. We can proceed. The next item of the agenda is presentation of the annual activity report and audited financial statement by NEDI. Let me ask, which reports are expected to be presented by NEDI? Earlier on in our briefing, we inform all institutions this time round, except those listed on the PEG. All agencies and institutions will have their reports, both activity and financial statements, to be submitted to FPAC. I will not know at this juncture, and then the report that's supposed to be covered will range from 2016 to 2020. So I don't know which of your reports were not duly treated by your previous committee. In the event which the report that is affected, or the year that is affected, you are obliged to submit that report to FPAC. Can the general manager duly inform which report or year that is affected to be presented to the committee?
Thank you very much. Honorable Chair, the report that NEDI is presenting today is the year for 2020. 20.
That is to say you had your 2016 up to 2019 been treated?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we may proceed for the presentation of the reports of 2020, and that we begin with the activity report to be presented by the chairperson of the board, or to whom he has directed to do so. Chairperson of the board.
Thank you very much. As chair of the board, I have delegated that responsibility to the program manager.
To the program
manager. Program manager.
Now the program manager
is Mr. Duffy.
So Duffy, you can take over.
Thank you very much.
2020 activity report.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. We'll start with page 6.
And in doing so, since we have the copy of the report, you don't need to read the details.
Yes.
Just give us the summary,
the
key highlights of the report.
Page 6 talks about capacity assessment of NEDI conducted by the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs. In 2020, there was a capacity assessment that was conducted by the Ministry of Finance. This was in line with the implementation of the Youth Revolving Fund. This was both in grant and loan that was supposed to support young entrepreneurs. And a capacity assessment was done by experts at the Ministry of Finance to see whether NEDI has the capacity in terms of the human resource and to be able to run that program. And this capacity assessment was done where desk reviews were conducted, where also we had field reviews and interview, also submission of certain reports that were compiled by NEDI. At the end of the capacity assessment, NEDI was found to be very compliant and has the required human resource to be able to implement that program. In 2020 also we had, page 7, we had series of partnership meeting. And this partnership meeting was done with ITC, that is the International Trade Center, where we implemented training programs for graduates in the TVET area. We also implemented business development programs for women farmers and women gardeners. The objective was to train them on entrepreneurship and business plan development so that they will be able to run their businesses effectively. We also continue to have partnership with YEP through the Andandor program, which was also meant to support young entrepreneurs to be able to excel and accelerate opportunities within the entrepreneurship sector. In 2020 also, in page 8, we also have partnership with GIZ ECOWAS. This is the Regional Stabilization Project. And NEDI was part of the implementing partners of this project. We were represented in 3 committees. That's the Fisheries Committee, the Poultry Committee, and the Horticulture. And also we were part of, we had several bilateral to implement a business loop project that we are meant to build the capacity of young entrepreneurs and to support them with other access to finance programs. Also, we are part of a lot of stakeholders, the GAM work, which was a grant scheme that was implemented by the GIZ ECOWAS project. We also had meetings with TICA, which is the Turkish NGO to support young entrepreneurs. We also were part of the stakeholders at the NECOF that was spearheaded by the National Youth Council. If you go to page 9, part of the activities that we implemented in 2020, these are part of it, were government-funded project, which is the Youth Revolving Fund. We also had a lot of bilateral with GIZ, that is the GIZ International. This was to train young entrepreneurs in agric value chain areas, that is agro-entrepreneurship. We did 85 of them. We also had bilateral with GIZ International to promote mentorship, to guide young entrepreneurs who were into business but lacked the requisite knowledge to be able to support them to excel. And we also had bilateral with IMVF and also GIZ Germany. In page 10, general entrepreneurship training. In 2020, we had about 330 youth and women who were trained on general entrepreneurship. And 181 of these are male and 149 were women. These training were basically on idea generation, basically on market linkages, taxation, contract negotiation, to be able to give them the requisite knowledge to manage their business. Also, on the same page, in 2020, we trained 36 graduates of the Shanghai Gambia project. This is a project under the Ministry of Youth and Sport, which is based in Farafenni, where young men and women undergo a 2-year program to train them on agri value chain areas. And at the end of that training, we train them on business planning, business management, to give them the soft skill so that they will be able to run their businesses effectively. Also, in page 10, we trained 150 youth and women on general entrepreneurship. This is a project that was based on the Youth Revolving. The Youth Revolving was to support young people with business skills that we were able to link them to access to finance program, which were in the form of loan and grant. And 150 of them benefited from that. In page 11, we trained 40 backway. This is in 2019. This is in line with 2019 SIPREC that occurred in 2019 in Bara. 40 of the survivors from that SIPREC, we trained them on career guidance, on business skills, management skills, entrepreneurship, so that they will be able to get themselves effectively reintegrated into society and to be able to start their business. And the idea was to discourage irregular migration. And in page 12, Banjul, we had trainings for 50 youth, including men and women, in Banjul and North Bank. In Banjul, we trained 25 existing entrepreneurs. These are young people who are already into business, but they need some level of capacity to excel their business. And we did the same training in North Bank as well. Now, if you go to page 14, Mediterranean graduates, graduate and SDF loan applicants. This is PIA graduates. PIA is the Presidential International Award Scheme. This institution train young people on skill areas. And we thought it is important, once they get the skill, they need to get the soft skill to make them employable. And we train 30 of them. We also train because there were 10 applicants who applied for the loan, but they lacked the required skills, management skills. So we also train them on business management skill. If you go to page 15, because many of the young people needed some sort of hand-holding to be able to sustain their business, we commissioned an advanced coaching training for youth and women. We trained 14 business coaches. These are high-skill coaching who will be able to help young people who want to start their business but they don't have some form of hand-holding experience. We train them and we were able to deploy them to guide them. And also in page 15, we, through our partners like the GIZ Germany, we conducted agro-entrepreneurship training. And this training was purely on food processing, food preservation and packaging. It was very practical. 85 of youth were selected, and this was done in LRR, who were trained to be able to preserve tomato into tomato juice, into mango juice into complementary food. And you could see pictures of those things in page 16. Now, if you go to page 17, we trained 24 youth in machine operation, to operate machines. Through our partners, the GIZ Germany, we were able to establish 9 microprocessing centers in LRR. These microprocessing centers was aimed at creating employment and making young people employable, give them skills. And because these centers were also supplied with machines, we trained 24 operators who will be able to manage these centers effectively. You could see pictures of those ones in page 18. Now, in page 19, we commissioned a mapping and a survey of entrepreneurs in GBA. We wanted to know actually what young entrepreneurs or existing or even potential entrepreneurs who want to start business, what are their gaps, what do they need? And then we did a survey to reach out to 1,000 young people within the GBA. And this informed us to identify what type of trainings that they will be able to have. Page 20 was on business advisory services. And this business advisory service is a regular kind of mentorship that we give to young people who want to start business but they don't have the money or they don't have the requisite skills. And we provided that mentorship services, advisory service for 205 of them. And this is both in our office and out in the field. Also, we did customized business advisory service. This customized business advisory service, we did it for people who we trained for 5 years, in 5 years' time, 5 years ago, but we wanted to know how the level of their progress and what challenges they have. So we did a customized business advisory service for them to be able to upskill them to advance their business. We also did the same business advisory services for the youths that we train under the Youth Revolving Fund to be able to guide them effectively to manage their funds. In page 22, we tried to redesign some of our training and methodologies. In 2020, we added business model canvas, design thinking, taxation, contract negotiation, fundraising, and procurement, because we wanted the youths who are into entrepreneurship to have these basic skills so that they will be able to effectively manage themselves. On the same page 22, insurer management and capacity building. We made the management under the oversight in terms of we have the board, which is chaired by Mr. Kenata here, and we have the Ministry of Youth, and that ensures that we have a compliance with whatever we are doing. And in terms of the same insurer capacity building, in 2020 we acquire a double cabin pickup that facilitates our trekking up country. In page 23, in terms of governance and management, during COVID-19, it was very difficult. We had only 2 board meetings, which were done virtual. This was done to be able to meet up with the demand. And we also commissioned, we started the development of a NEDI strategic plan, for a 5-year strategic plan from 2022 to 2026. This is already in progress and the first draft has already been submitted. And in 2020, on page 23, we already submitted a B&Q to the Minister of Land so that we'll be allocated with a space to be able to house our operation, because we're dealing with young people and we do a lot of coaching, mentorship, and training. And this submission has also already been done. Also, monitoring and evaluation. We did 6 monitoring visits in 2020, and this was done to all our project sites to be able to have first-hand information about what they are doing and challenges. And if you look at in page 24, some of the key achievements that we have in 2020 is we completed the implementation of sectoral agro-entrepreneurship. This agro-entrepreneurship is a skill-based training on the agri value chain. We also trained 150 youth and women on general entrepreneurship. We trained 40 youth who were survivors of the shipwreck on business management skills. We trained 90 youth on general entrepreneurship. We also trained 150 entrepreneurs. We also provide mentorship for them. And we also did an assessment, a survey, to reach out to 1,000 potential entrepreneurs in the GBA. And 14 business coaches were also trained to be able to provide advisory services to entrepreneurs. And if we also procure one double cabin salon to be able to facilitate our trekking activities. But in page 25, we have our challenges. One of the challenges in 2020 has been COVID-19. That has affected our programs, also because of limited funding. We are dealing with young people who require a lot of support. Because of limited funding, that has limited sometimes some of our output. Also, we have the low number of staff compared to the volume of work. The institution is understaffed, and because of that, we will not be able to meet some of the demand. Also, the need to intensify a program on agro-entrepreneurship. So we felt that there is demand for agro and agri-value chain related training, and we try to intensify this area. Another challenge is also the land. We thought if we have the land, that will really upscale some of the programs that we do. And challenge of fund to roll out more support to youth who have viable business ideas, but they need funding to be able to support that. So these are some of the challenges that we have, and we thought that we have few recommendations that is needed to redesign the programs which we started doing, provide funding to lady youth merchandise, increase funding support to target youth. So far, these are some of the recommendations that we have. In conclusion, in page 26, overall, despite the challenge of COVID-19, we were able to work with government through our line ministry, the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and through partners to be able to accelerate the promotion of entrepreneurship, to be able to give young entrepreneurs who needed skills, who needed capacity, and also who need some form of hand-holding to be able to access finance. And thank God, most of those activities, in spite of the challenges, were rendered to those who need it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We move to the financial statement, finance and admin secretary.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and the committee members. I'll be presenting the financial statements of NEDI for the year ended December 2020. I will start with the statement of the financial position.
Page
10. The non-current assets, that is property, plant and equipment, which is found in note 9, is 2,605,680. The current assets, we have receivables found at note 10, 20,730. The cash and the bank balance found on note 11 is 8,455,736 and 7 bututs. The total assets of NEDI as of 2020 is 11,082,146 and 7 bututs. The current liabilities, we have payables found at note 12 is 146,705. The prepaid incomes found at note 13 is 8,059,280. The total liabilities of NEDI as at December 2020 was 8,205,985. The net assets and equity is 2,876,161 and 7 bututs. So the other reserves, which is found on note 14, is 2,717,548 3 bututs. The accumulated surplus or deficit found on the note 15 is 158,613 and 4 bututs. The total net asset or equity is 2,876,161 and 7 bututs as of 31st December 2020. Next is the statement of the financial performance for the year ended 31st December 2020. On the income, we have government subventions, which is found on note 2, is $7,130,583.68 bututs. The partners' contribution, which is found under note 3, it categorically specified the different partners that we have, is $2,264,662. The other incomes found under note 4 is $2,052,250. The interest income, which was again found under note 5, is $30,169 and 70 bututs. The total income as of December 2020 was $11,477,665 and 38 bututs. The expenditures, we have personal costs found under note 6 is $2,083,875 and 88 bututs. The general and other administrative expenses, which is found under note 7, is $1,076,385 and 32 bututs. The programs and the enterprise development activities of NEDI is found under note 8 is $7,350,710 bututs. The depreciation for the year is $780,880. The total expenditures for the year ended 31st December 2020 is $11,291,841 and 30 bututs. The surplus for the year 2020 was $185,824 and 8 bututs. The next, which is the statement of the changes in equity, we have balance as at January 2020 was $2,690,336 and 99 bututs. Added the surplus for the year, $185,824 and 8 bututs, which sum up to $2,876,161 and 7 bututs. The last one is the cash flow statement for the year ended 31st December 2020. Under the operating activities, we have the surplus for the year, which is $185,824 and 8 bututs. The adjustments, you have depreciation found under note 9 is $780,880. We have decrease in receivables, which is $12,858,000 and 32 bututs. Decrease in payables, we have $8,198,235. The net cash provided by the operating activities is $9,177,797 40 bututs. The investing activities, you have the non-current assets, which is the additionals, found on a note 9 is $1,515,000. And the next cash provided by the investing activities is the same, $1,515,000. So the net increase in cash and cash equivalent for the period, which is found under the note 11, is $7,662,797 and 40 bututs. The cash and the cash equivalent at the beginning of the period is $792,938 and 67 bututs. So the cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period, December 2020, was $8,455,736 and 7 bututs. Thank you, Honorable Chair. That is the finance statement for now.
Thank you. Auditor?
Honorable Chair and members, please refer to page 8 of the report. The opinion reads, we have audited the accompanying financial statements of the National Enterprise Development Initiative for the year ended 31st December 2020. Statement of financial position as of 31st December 2020, statement of financial performance, statement of changes in equity, and cash flow statement for the year then ended are set out on pages 10 to 13, and a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory information set out on pages 14 to 20. In our opinion, the financial statements and related notes set out on pages 10 to 20 presents fairly in all material respects of the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2020, statement of financial performance, statement of changes in equity, and cash flow statement of the National Enterprise Development Initiative for the year then ended in accordance with International Public Sector Accounting Standards accrual basis. Honorable Chair and members, please refer to page 8 of the management letter. Page 28 rather. (3.1.1) Board meetings. A review of the board meeting file showed that the board held only 2 meetings during the period under review. Implication and important provision has not been complied with, increasing the risk of the board not meeting its oversight mandate, leaving important matters to be decided by management. Priority medium recommendation, we recommend that board meeting are stipulated by the Act in order to enhance its oversight function. Page 29, 3.2.1, improper filing of project vouchers. A review of payment vouchers of the projects executed during the period under review revealed that NEDI did not file vouchers according to projects. Implication, in the absence of filing project vouchers accordingly, it will be difficult to have audit trail and by extension to establish if the project was executed according to the project agreement, and this raises doubt of transparency. Priority high, recommendation, management should ensure that all projects executed are filed according to the contract agreements, and each contract should be filed separately to enhance transparency. Page 30, 3.2.2, NEDI staff used as resource persons, mentors, facilitators, and trainers. Finding, during the period under review, we noted that NEDI staff were involved in trainings conducted as resource persons, facilitators, and mentors of youths and women activities. Implication, in the event that it is not an institutional policy, it will lead to conflict of interest, but also having staff as facilitators and mentors can defeat the purpose of management's responsibility in managing NEDI. Priority high recommendation, management should ensure that institutional policies are followed or guidelines of best practices are observed in selecting facilitators, mentors, and trainers in the youth and women training activities. Auditors for the comment on page 31. We encourage management to ensure that they use the already available pool of trainers as its main task and or outsource the activity instead of using key staff for training. This is to ensure that there is no conflict of interest. 3.2.3 non-approval of the opening of bank accounts. Finding, we reviewed the account opening file of the various bank accounts operated by NEDI and noted that none of the accounts opened by the institution has the approval from the Accountant General's Department. Although a letter of account opening request to AGD was presented for confirmation, but there was no reply to the letter sent. Below is the details. Implication, in the absence of the approval letter from AGD, that is the Accountant General Department, the tracking of government accounts opened by NEDI will be difficult to track. Priority high recommendation, we recommend management to regularize the situation and our office is informed accordingly. Honorable Chair, please refer to page 33, 3.2.5, private receipt books. Finding, we noted that receipt books used by NEDI were not printed by the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation, GPPC. Our inquiry with GPPC on 14 February 2022 revealed that there was no record of purchase of receipts books supplied to NEDI from 2004 to 31st December 2020. The details are shown below. Implication, in the absence of GPPC receipts, books could lead to lack of transparency and accountability, increasing the risks of revenue loss. Priority high recommendation, management should ensure that all publication, receipts, forms, and other documents be printed at GPPC. Auditors for the comment, the situation is regularized as we have confirmed that GPPC receipt books have been procured. We recommend that also the unused receipt books should be cancelled and kept for audit trail. On tax fees asset on page 35, 3.2.7. Finding during physical verification of the assets vis-a-vis the review of the fixed asset register, we noted that the assets were not physically tagged. See detail in Annex B. Implication, in the absence of tagging, assets identification can be difficult to determine and also increases the risk of assets missing without notice. Priority medium, recommendation, management should ensure that these assets are tagged and details furnished to our office for verification. Honorable Chair, now refer you to page 40 on the prior year audit matters, that all the recommendations were implemented except for use of private receipt books. Thank you.
Thank you. Give me. You submit the report to NEDI for their response, or the final report, and that is scheduled. You plan to do so by first week of October. Why is it taking that long? So we give you first week of October to submit. Okay. That brings us to the end of the presentation of the reports of NEDI, both the activity and the financial statements. We expect to do the consideration also need the subcopy of the, or copies of the reports. If you can also send that to the Secretariat.
We already submitted the soft copy of the activity report to the email. We are also making a follow-up with auditors. Sorry, we will scan the audited report and send it to your email. Thank you.
You can do so. Now you have to reappear tomorrow by 2:30 for the consideration of the report that we have presented today. Okay? Okay, I think we are done with you for today, unless you have anything that you want to say or you want clarification from the committee. Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, honorable members, subject matter specialists, representative of the National Audit Office, GPPE, staff of the National Assembly, GM, and NEDI staff. All protocols are respectfully observed. It gives me great pleasure to give brief remarks to this great August Assembly. On behalf of the board, management and the entire staff of MEDI, I wish to thank the FPAC for the great service that is being rendered to the nation. Providing diligent and robust oversight function of this nature to government ministries, departments and agencies is a great step as far as good institutional governance is concerned. As chairman of MEDI board, we are extremely thrilled and grateful with your guidance and support to the institution over the years. Honorable members, MEDI is an agency created by an act of parliament in 2013. The institution is under the Ministry of Youth and Sports and serves as the enterprise arm of the ministry. It plays a very significant role in the development of the youth and women of the Gambia. Part of our mandate as an institution is to promote entrepreneurship and enterprise creation for youth and women, as well as create market linkages for youth and women entrepreneurs for employment creation. MEDI also provides mentorship, coaching and career guidance for youth entrepreneurs. During the period under review, MEDI has been able to build the capacity of migrant returnees and will be migrants to start and grow their businesses. As a board, we work closely with our management to provide the needed oversight and guidance for them to execute their functions as inscribed in the Act. During the period under review, the board conducted monitoring to all regions of the Gambia to monitor projects and programs of the institution. I wish to take this opportunity to thank my colleague board members and the management for a very successful and rewarding exercise. The board continues to support management technically, and during the period under review, through the guidance of the board, the institution was able to register more partners such as IOM, ITC, GIS, GIZ, and IMVF to support youth entrepreneurship development. Honorable members, despite all these achievements, MEDI continues to grapple with some challenges as highlighted by the program manager in his presentation. One of the major challenges of the institution is mobility. The institution has only one trekking vehicle, which makes the work of management very difficult to provide timely intervention to youth entrepreneurs. Also, low budgetary allocation to the institution is a growing concern and makes it very difficult for the institution to provide support to entrepreneurship development for youth who need it. Honorable members, MEDI is also struggling with inadequate staffing as highlighted already. As of now, we do not have enough staff in the regions, which makes our work very difficult in the regions. To conclude, I wish to once again reiterate the board's continuous appreciation of the support of the National Assembly Select Committee on Youth and Sports for their tireless efforts in supporting youth development and generally the cause of MEDI. We wish to express our profound commitment, cooperation and willingness to do all that we can to support the work of this honorable committee in discharging their statutory functions to MEDI. I thank you all.
Thank you. On that note, we come to the end of the meeting for MEDI. And as I said earlier on, tomorrow you will reappear by 2:30 for the consideration of the reports that were presented today. On that note, you are free to take a leave. Thank you. Yes, sir, Audited, you are going?
Yeah. Yes. I'm done for the day. It's outsourced.
Oh, outsourced. Still your boss is there. Why are you? Yeah. Fatu.